guys, I'm Tim.
I'm Anna.
This is the Geekedupgaming Review Group. We're going to bring you guys a review of
Shindig Machine.
Basically, Shindig Machine is 2 decks of cards with no text on them. They're all black and white artwork on the cards, and you can create your own games, or you can play the games that are depicted in the rulebook. And there's no point system, so it's just kind of a fun type of game. So let's go ahead and go over to the box, show you guys some of the components, the artwork, and a couple of the different ways of how to play the game. Alright guys, so here we have the box to the Shindig Machine by Travis D. Games. I said Shindig, didn't I?
You said Shindig? I don't know what you said. It was not Shindig.
Anyways, Shindig Machine is a collaborative absurdity engine powered by the creativity of you and your friends. Creativity of you and your friends. Now that wasn't very clear on what I said. So basically what you're going to get inside the box is a rule book of different multiple games. What you can do with all of these cards. Now all these cards have pictures on them, and then you interpret them how you see them. Me and Anna, the game that we play, or the most that we've played, is called Band Name. So basically how that works is you'll have the deck.
Basically, there's lots of games. You can choose which ones you and your friends like.
Yeah, so like here's the deck, and then you're going to choose 3 cards to bring out. And then Anna would, or you, it doesn't really matter, you guys could just take turns back and forth creating a band name. So this one looks like it could be kind of fun. We have a lady with a pair of sunglasses, and one side is spiraled with a blast behind her. And she looks like a young female, and then there's a skull kind of through the one lens. And then we have a crop circles, and then we have a milkman. Looks kind of scary here behind a little rickety fence, little picket fence. So I don't know, what would you name this band?
I'm trying to think of something. I had something and then I lost it.
The Alienist Milkmen of the Dead Maid.
No, I was thinking hipster milkman crop circles. I don't know.
What? You just described the 3 cards.
My hipster milkman.
So anyways, like there's no point system on any of these games. You can create a point system if you want to.
You just laugh.
Keep scoring stuff. It's really just a really cool mechanic type game. There's also another game in here, and it's called Big Game. And it's make epic twisting tales with your friends. So basically it says that you deal 10 cards to each player. So I'm not going to count these, but let's just pretend that's 10, and we'll say that I have 10. And then draw the top card from the deck and place it face down in the center of the table. The first player places a card from their hand next to the card on the table, directly adjacent in any direction, top to bottom, left, right, etc. They then interpret the story created by the cards on the table. And then the second player adds a card to those already in play. They may either place the card in line with the first 2, adding to the story, or they may place a cross card connecting at a right angle to the existing sequence to begin a side story.
So Johnny was on the defensive because his lover was just murdered in the garden, and he wanted to avenge her death.
And we will say that he actually was not avenging the death of his lover, because beforehand he's just having depression because, well, I don't remember what this is called, but after he
PTSD?
Yes. So what Anna said, what is it?
PTSD, post-traumatic stress
something
disorder.
Okay, and the reason being is because he used to be at war, so he thinks, and it's just his mind is messing with him because he just came back from war. And
the PTSD, he's been taking drugs to help with them. But he really had purchased a ring that he was going to propose to his imaginary lover with. He imagined dates that they went on.
And Anna's just taking off and making her own rules of the game, which is completely okay. That's what I love about this game. You can just kind of just take off and just do whatever you want, and I'm gonna say he thought his girlfriend was Harley Quinn. If you guys can see that. Okay, yeah, you guys can see that.
And he thought that he was the Count of Monte Cristo.
And he misses his goldfish. And he's just having all these kinds of problems.
But his goldfish wasn't real. It was just in a snow globe.
But when he was a little kid, he always wanted to be a soldier. And he always played with toy soldiers. So like you can just kind of like make it up and you can kind of... And then go back and just make a whole story. Or you can just lay a bunch of cards out and make stories.
That's what's cool. There's just tons and tons of pictures. They're all just fuel.
Yeah, and if you guys saw our unboxing, I mean, you could just see all the different cards that there are. And there's a lot of cool artwork in here. We made a game up. I said, Anna, give me a word and let me see if I can find a card that will incorporate that word. She said, coffee. I found a card with 2 beer mugs. And I was like, oh, you drink coffee because you're trying to recover from the night before of drinking. So, you know, it's just a game of laughter. I don't really think that there's an actual age group for it. I mean, some of the artwork might be something, yeah, you know. I mean, you can even play it as a theme. Say the theme is, and I'm just going to say this because the show is playing tonight, Sons of Anarchy. So you just incorporate all the cards to Sons of Anarchy. Or...
You can make up your own game states. I mean, you can't really, I don't think you can play this with rules, people. Oh, someone's phone went off.
I'm sorry.
But I wouldn't play this with rules, people. You got to be kind of open and...
Well, the thing is that you can't play with rules, people, because there are no rules, really. You are basically given... Yeah, you're basically given a basic structure inside this rule book, and you just take off. I mean, there is kind of more of a guidelines. So like there's the games are called Superpower, there's Kill Survive, there's Slander. Here, let me read the actual descriptions right next to it. Okay, so Superpower. Try to imagine all of your friends wearing brightly colored tights. Parentheses, or don't if that's too disturbing. And then you have Kill Survive. Find out which of your friends is the biggest threat so you can be extra nice to them from now on. Slander. Imply terrible things about fake politicians. Diagnosis. Should not be misconstrued as legitimate medical advice. Reinterpret. A simple, and I can't pronounce this, it's R-O-R-S-C-H-A-C-H. Rostach test, I guess. And a great way to keep your mind limber. Snake. A simple, linear group storytelling experience. Oracle, 50% more accurate than tea leaves and entrails, probably. Interview. Exercise all those job interview demons, and it actually gives you like questions here that you can ask, and we played that one as well. Pitch session with a P. Experiencing the joy of destroying someone's creative vision. Interrogation. Live out your dreams of catching bad guys in their lies. And it actually says same as pitch session, but instead of pitching a movie to consecutives, you try to lie to cops after each telling the story with other players present, pieces of crushing, contradictory evidence that force you to scramble and amend your previous statement.
We played the interview one. That was fun.
Yeah. And then there's band name, which names are hard. Tarot, future-proof yourself. And Eulogy, Sandy was a real wanker. And I can say that now because she's dead.
You know what movie that's from?
And then big game was make epic twisting tales with your friends, which we talked about that one earlier.
What's that movie called with Natalie Portman and Jude Law and Julia Roberts and...
I have no idea. You lost me at Natalie Portman and whatever that
Natalie
was.
Portman, Jude Law, Julia Roberts, and...
Yeah, but it shows that you have easy games, medium games, challenging games. This is really... I honestly, looking at it, and I'll talk about it more in the conclusion, it's probably not a game that I would have looked at and been like, oh, I'm going to pick that up. But I am very grateful that Travesty Games actually gave us a copy to do a review for, because I...
kind of opened our eyes to something we didn't know about.
Yeah, and it really changed the way... I don't want to say I judged it by its cover, but when I said Shindig machine and then I read the back, it was like... exactly what I thought it was. It was just, it's games with guidelines, but there's no solid structure. But I thought it was just going to be one type of game. But there's actually multiple games and multiple things you could do, and then you can just make your own games up. It's almost like you could take
Like story dice?
and theme it after anything you want. I'm trying to think of something that you can incorporate the cards with. Cards Against Humanity. I mean, if you wanted to twist that, like build a sentence with Cards Against Humanity, and then play a card that would describe it, or play one of these cards and then try to build something with a different game. Or you could build an RPG out of these. I think that there's kind of artwork here. You could do like a little 5-minute RPG, stuff like that.
Closer.
So let's go
That's
ahead.
what
and
that movie's called. Closer.
Closer. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So let's go ahead and go to our conclusion, even though I kind of already touched on that. But anyways, we'll join you at the conclusion. Okay, so our conclusion of Shindig Machine is that we really like it. It's kind of cool that you can make your own game types, and then you can play their game types, use their guidelines, and then just kind of throw your own rules in there, or you can play just their rules on some of the game types. The artwork, there's a lot of cool artwork in the game. If they ever did an expansion, it'd be really easy. Just add more cards with more artwork, which may be a possibility. Maybe they've already done that and they're going to add to it. It's kind of a different type of game. It's not a game that I would look at right away, but now that I've played it, I may look for other games that are of that type.
I think it'd be fun to play with a different crowd of people, and
yeah.
It wasn't what I expected. I mean, I didn't expect to enjoy it as much as I did. We laughed a lot when we were playing it.
I didn't. Yeah, at first when I was reading like how the game played, I was like, well, this is going to be awful. And it was actually the opposite of that. I just thought it was a thrown together game with not a lot to it. There's not a lot to it, but that's kind of what makes it the fun part, because then you can just make stuff up. You can just lay down cards and basically just make up a story, or you can make it whatever you want it to be.
Kind of like, I've never been a fan of like story dice, but I've never played them. So maybe with the right crowd, story dice would be fun now in my mind, because this was kind of fun. So
yeah, and it's the fun. I think the most fun about it is that when you play a card, you interpret it as one thing, and then somebody else thinks of it as something else. Like there was one card in particular. There's a guy standing at a rail, and then there's this like smoke on the distance. I was like, was that a geyser or a rocket or what is that? And she thought it was lightning that struck the ground. But then there's another card that actually looks like lightning striking a tree.
I thought it was like a thunderstorm or something in that distance. I'm not sure.
So it's kind of neat to see how other people interpret. Like, it's almost like the ink blot thing. Throw a card out in front and be like, what do you see? And then they tell you what you see and be like, well, that's not what I see. I see this. So, I mean, you could do the ink blot test thing, I guess. And then you can also do, there's a game in the book where you can do, like, tarot cards or whatever. You know, you can tell the future of yourself or of someone else by playing the cards out and whatever.
I don't like those kind of things, so I didn't play that. I didn't want to play that one.
Yeah, it kind of creeps me out. I'd rather not know the future and just kind of walk into it blindly.
Even though it's just a game, and obviously we're not going to be able to predict the future.
Yeah.
Or will we?
Yeah.
Just kidding.
But, is there anything else?
No, I actually would suggest you to pick it up because it's a fun little game. It changed my mind about games like this. I didn't know games like this really existed that much. But yeah, it changed my perspective or my initial thought. So I would say pick it up. It's a fun one to have. So.
And that's also part of the reason when somebody asks us to review their game, that's why I would never say no. Because it may be something we've never played before, it may be something we don't have an interest in, and now we do.
Which we asked them. We went to their booth at Gen Con and
this
asked
was
if they had
actually,
anything to review.
They had anything, so.
And that's what they handed us. They had a couple other games. Travesty.
It's Travesty Games is the company.
And the owner was really cool, and he was like, oh yeah, take this one, watch this guy play it for a little bit. We watched it, and we were kind of like, oh, what did we get ourselves into? And then, like...
I thought maybe there was, like, this super deep mechanic that they were following, and they were knowing the story of all these cards, and I was like, okay, we might be in some quicksand.
Yeah, but really,
Really
it was
easy.
so simple, and it was a lot of fun, so I'm really glad that we talked to him.
If you wanted to, you could take the rule book, never open it, put it out of the box, use the cards for whatever you want to. I know earlier in the showing you guys how to play it, I had said make a sentence with Cards Against Humanity and then try to make a sentence that the pictures would reenact what it says on the cards for Cards Against Humanity. There may be variations that you can't do that because there's so many cards for Cards Against Humanity versus this one. But I think it's kind of cool because you could use this game and these cards and the artwork to use as something else. You could even create a role-playing game like so-and-so walked over to this geyser and there was gyms, but then there was a fleet of whoever
There was a
coming
bunch of
this way.
gyms.
Yeah, gyms at a geyser. You can make it whatever.
Gyms?
Gyms.
Gems.
Gems.
I thought you said there was a bunch of gyms, like as in a bunch of men named Jim.
No, I thought you meant gyms as in like
I
workout
didn't.
benches and stuff, and I'm like, no, gyms like stones and
Oh.
rocks and stuff.
No. Okay.
Yeah, it's a bunch of gyms. Oh, what? Here's my brother Daryl, my other brother Daryl. And my name's Daryl too. Except for it'd be Jim's, not Daryl's.
Right.
So, besides all the gyms,
Gyms.
whatever, it's all the gyms. Yeah, GEMS, not JIMS. So,
G-E.
that's what I
Okay.
said. GE, not JI.
Okay.
Okay, so yeah, that's our thoughts about all Travis's games. Is
Pile of gyms.
all the gyms. So, is that it?
Yeah, pick it up. It's cool.
All right. So I'm Tim.
I'm Anna.
This is the Geekedupgaming Review Group, and this is
Shindig Machine.
by Travis D Games.